All right, everybody, welcome back to Beyond the Closing Table. Super excited today. We have the one and only, the mayor of Lawrence, Mr. Nathan Senn. How are you doing today?
Very well. Thank you for having me.
Awesome, man. I appreciate you being here. This is super cool. I'll start off by asking you, what's been the best part of your week so far?
I'd say the best part of my week so far has been a really great department head meeting. It's good when you get everybody on the same page, and
Yeah.
we're making good progress down here.
Yeah, awesome. You guys have so much stuff going on.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a fun time to be mayor of the city of Lawrence.
Yeah.
Really, we kind of went from a decline to turning things around and then actually growing, and it's been fun to be part of that process.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've been in real estate for about 5 years, but it's even in the short time that I've been doing real estate, you can see Lawrence, obviously the home prices increasing. That's happening most places, but it's really cool to see the changes that are occurring and the new construction that's coming down there. And we were talking a little bit before we started, but the square down there, it seems like everything's really booming right now.
It's funny. I love having two hats that I get to wear, and one of the things I notice when we're around the closing table, and I'm welcoming a new resident in town, I get to ask them, "What brought you to Lawrence?"
Yeah.
And gosh, it seems like 9 times out of 10 they've come to some festival or event on the square and just fell in love with the town.
Yeah, that's super cool. Every time I do a closing down there with y'all, I have to go to Groucho's.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what time of day. It could be a 9 a.m. closing. I'm going to Groucho's. That's like just something that I have set in my mind that has to happen.
It was a shot in the arm to get that for us.
Yeah. There's a Groucho's in downtown Greenville, but the parking is, I got to park downtown and sometimes pay to park, and it's just not even, I don't want to deal with all that. So, and I live in Simpsonville, so I'm kind of halfway between each. So we end up going down there quite a bit just to eat Groucho's. But
Well, we appreciate it.
yeah, that's one of my favorite spots. So how long have you been the mayor of Lawrence?
About 7 years. I started in March of 2019.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so for people that don't know, how do elections for that type of stuff work, and how long are term limits?
Well, there are no term limits. I guess the term limit is when they stop voting for you. You're not mayor anymore. But
Right.
I serve 4 years at a time. So this is my second term,
Okay.
and it's a nonpartisan election. That's another part I love about my job. Is
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about alienating half the town
Right.
because of the R or the D beside my name.
Right.
And really, I was actually talking with the city council yesterday. They were saying there's no like Republican or Democratic way to pick up trash.
Yeah.
We just get to worry about the things that matter to people on a basic quality of life level.
Yeah.
So
To me, that's the most important stuff.
Yeah.
It's the stuff that directly affects most people. And I think a lot of people don't take part in their local elections. I don't think they realize the importance of it.
that's very true. I mean, in very real ways, the decisions that I make affect a resident of the city of Lawrence more than the ones that are made by the President of the United States.
Yeah, for sure. And there's no trickle down to it. It's everything's local.
That's right. Yeah. And it's a heck of a lot easier to get in touch with me than it is the president.
Yeah, I would assume so. I texted you. You responded to my text, so yeah,
There you go.
I don't think I can text the president. I don't have that kind of clout. But what made you want to get into this?
Well, actually, I had a friend that came up to me in the months leading up to that election back in 2019. And he said that I should run. And my answer was not just no, but heck no.
Yeah.
Or words to that effect. And it really just is a life in politics is not like an ambition of mine.
Yeah.
But when I moved back to Lawrence in 2016 from having lived in Charleston for about 10 years, I got involved with our local Main Street organization.
Mm-hmm.
So for folks that don't know, Main Street is something that a lot of cities all across the state have, all across the nation have. And it's kind of a downtown redevelopment and revitalization organization, nonprofit.
Yeah.
So in my work on the board of that organization, I kind of saw some of the things that the city was doing or not doing
Right.
that could help grow. Um, and I really felt like if there wasn't anybody that was willing to step forward, I might have some good ideas that I could offer. And it's been a fun ride since I got elected.
Yeah. What's that like first, like after you win the election, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was there like a oh crap moment, or was it kind of like a surreal?
Shortly, that's a very interesting question. Shortly after I was elected, we had a storm.
Mm-hmm.
And it really hit home to me that, normally if you have a bad storm, you're worried about a limb falling on your house.
Right.
That sort of thing. It was a very real concern that hit me that I'm not just worried about my house.
Right.
I'm worried about the 9,000 residents of the city and their houses.
Yeah.
And the safety of our first responders.
Yeah.
That was... It's just a way that your mind changes. The other thing I've noticed is public works, right? So whenever I visit another city and I see the way they've got, a bench or some curbing or, a park or something, your mind's constantly filtering those ideas and like, I wonder if we could do that. I wonder how much that would cost.
I wonder what the cost would be to put an bench in there. Yeah. Could we get a sponsor for that?
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. It's interesting how perspectives change so much about stuff like that.
Yeah.
I noticed I never had any ambition of becoming a realtor. It happened. My brother kind of sort of talked me into it. He thought I would be really good at it. But I noticed very shortly after, I was never the type of person that would like walk into houses and just be like in awe of them. Mm-hmm. But after becoming licensed, I would be in houses and I'm like, man, I love the chair rail that they have in this dining room. It's like stuff like that.
Exactly.
But you don't think about it. It's kind of like when you buy a car, you start to see that car all over the road. It's like, oh man, I'm seeing these everywhere now. But super cool. So you were born and raised in Lawrence, right?
Yeah. So I'm a farm boy. I grew up on a farm about 3 miles outside of town. And went to Clemson for undergrad, got a degree in political science. And while I was at Clemson, I had an experience working on a campaign.
Okay.
And I was like, I don't want any part of this.
Yeah.
And so I went to law school. Having grown up on a farm and seeing what it's like to work with your back, I kind of wanted to have a job where I worked with my head.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because, you pull your back and you're out of work.
Right.
Hopefully I don't pull a muscle in my brain. But anyway, I went to law school down in Charleston and graduated right at about the worst time you could possibly graduate, at the depth of the Great Recession.
Oh, geez.
And so not only were folks not hiring new associates, they were laying off new associates. Mm. And so I just kind of made the decision to take the plunge and open my own firm.
Okay.
So the place where I had the most contacts was down in Charleston. So I ended up staying down there for about 10 years. And after looking around, I said, everybody and everything I love is 3 hours away.
Yeah.
If the only reason I'm staying in Charleston is because of nice restaurants I don't eat at most of the time anyway.
Yeah.
It's time to head home. And so it's been one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Yeah.
Love it.
And so when you were going through law school, did you know that you wanted to do real estate law in particular?
No. And in fact, because of the circumstances of the economy, it was just what came through the door is what I ended up doing. A good bit of family law. If somebody needed a will written or some sort of estate planning, or if they needed property transferred, that's what I ended up doing. Yeah, it wasn't a.
My brother, he does estate law, but mm-hmm. he went to South Carolina. He was the big driving force of me getting into real estate. But I was working for Publix the grocery chain.
Mm-hmm.
And I was moving up and getting into management and stuff like that. And they kept all their promises with me. I mean, it was a great company. I loved working there. They had really good. I'm actually just now 5 years later working with my financial advisor on getting my old 401k transferred over, which I should have done a while ago. But you just forget that kind of stuff even exists. Especially
Sure.
I was 23 when I left there, so it
Right.
never crossed my mind. But yeah, I guess when he bought his first home, he had just a great experience with an agent. And I was always wanting to find something that I could do where I could really feel like I was helping people.
Mm-hmm.
And when I had never bought a home before. So when he told me that I should get into real estate, I was like kind of scoffed at the idea. I was like, no, like kind of like you. I was like, heck no, I'm not, I'm not a big salesperson. I'm the kind of guy when I go on a car lot, I don't like when they come running out to you. And,
Right.
I'm just not a big fan of that. So, but he was like, no, man, trust me. Like my realtor really, really helped us. Like he saved us from other people that do that kind of stuff. And so after about a year, maybe a year and a half of him is literally nagging me about it. I mean, he bought me a real estate book for Christmas one year, and it kind of ticked me off. I'm like, I'm not doing it. But yeah, I finally got into it. But he's always been a great role model for me, and I'm trying to talk him into coming over to real estate law, but he doesn't seem to want to. So
Well, I mean, I can see why you did it, and why he was encouraging you. You're really personable. I mean, I think people, when they're looking to make a choice like that, they just need guidance, and they want to have somebody that they rely on.
yeah, you've got to have the right people around you too, and I think that's really important.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
how'd you get connected with Kevin Brady?
Well, after moving back to Lawrence, I moved my firm to Lawrence, and I kind of joke with people that I got recruited for myself, which is kind of wild. But Guest and Brady identified Lawrence as kind of a growth spot that they wanted to expand to, and they were looking to have an attorney in the area that knew the area. And I guess they'd say, who knows the town better than the mayor of the town?
Good point.
We had some great meetings, and I really love the firm culture of Guest and Brady.
Yeah.
And just the team that I get to work with. So
Yeah.
it was a good fit.
There's something special over there, and it probably sounds sales pitchy because that's the attorney's office that I prefer to use, of course. But it's we close with all
appreciate
different. Yeah, we close. I've closed with dozens of different attorneys' offices, but and there's nothing bad, not to speak down on anybody, but there's the culture there is just incredible, man. I mean, you walk in, it's like you're at home, and everybody is just so welcoming and warm, and it feels to me like, especially with first-time home buyers in particular,
Yes.
they're usually very nervous on closing day. Even if the transaction's gone very smooth, they're definitely excited, but they're still nervous because this is when it's like really real.
Yeah.
But having that warm, welcoming presence, it's almost like you go to a dentist's office when like they're really kind and just welcoming. It kind of tampers that fear. But I've had several of my clients that have like brought that up after the fact, like, hey, we really appreciate you referring that attorney's office because we felt so calm in there and everybody was so kind. So it's super important that they feel like they're making the right choice in that day.
That's really great to hear. I feel like a lot of times when you finish at the closing table, I guess my worst fear is that I have a client that walks out the door and goes, I have no idea what I just signed.
Right, yeah.
So particularly when you're dealing with a first-time home buyer, I like to maybe do a little bit more hand-holding.
Yeah. Did you ever consider like teaching or anything like that? You just kind of seem to have that personality to me.
Oh, it's funny that you say that. I've actually done a bit of that. I taught a class at Presbyterian College.
Okay, cool.
And had a Sunday school class at First Pres. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. And did you enjoy that aspect of things?
I do. It's that moment when you look out and you've shared something and you see the light bulb go off. That's really gratifying.
Yeah. I was never a teacher, but in college I majored in criminal justice, and then I changed majors to I wanted to be an English teacher essentially at the end of the road. Mm-hmm. But I could never be a teacher. I would love to be a teacher, but I don't think I could ever be a teacher. I have that. I really enjoy like one-on-one kind of stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think that the stress of trying to teach a whole classroom full of high school students would have driven me insane. So I think I definitely landed in the right spot. But because I really enjoy that aspect of our job too, is getting to help people and help teach them the process so that when they're going through it, it's not quite as stressful.
Yes.
But to me, that's really important, and I really enjoy doing that. So I'm really happy that's a part of my job.
So if I should be answering questions, not
No,
asking them, but
ask away.
so is it the challenge of like preparing the material, or what aspect of it is daunting to you?
Of buying a home?
No, I mean of the
being
idea
a teacher.
of being a teacher.
Oh, I think with me, what would be the hardest part of that is just being overwhelmed by the amount of people. Like, I remember when I was in school, I went to Malden High School right down the road.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it there. But we had some pretty, I want to say our classrooms are probably around like 20 to 25 students per class.
Yeah.
But I just remember countless times, like, just seeing how stressed teachers were, because if you've got 11 kids that don't understand the material and you've got 50 minutes, 55 minutes, however long a class is, to try to help teach it, like, that to me, I think would just become a little bit overwhelming.
Yeah.
And kids are also kind of crazy. So I couldn't do like elementary school, because that would just, I could never handle that many young children. In high school, they're kind of smart alecks by that point. So I think that there's a bit of, they kind of know too much for their own good.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say that I was spoiled in my experiences, because with college students in a class about the law, they're there because they want to be there, or at least because their major requires it. And same sort of deal with Sunday school. Like, the folks that are in my Sunday school class are there because they wanted.
Yeah. I have a past client. She's going to be on the podcast next week, but she's a teacher she's an English teacher at Greenville Tech. And so I'm interested to hear her perspective on that kind of thing too. But I know from talking with her in the past, she said very similar things of like, well, everybody in my class is paying to be there. Like, they want to be there. So it's a choice that they're making. If you're in a public school, you have to be there. And a lot of kids, I didn't really enjoy school a whole lot myself. I enjoyed parts of it, but for a lot of portions of school for me, especially high school, I was just ready to get out. I thought I was ready to be an adult and all that. And, boy, what a mistake that was. But, every 16-year-old thinks they know everything. So it's kind of funny how that works.
Well, and I feel like kids are forced earlier and earlier these days into making decisions about the path of their life that really affects things. And actually, we were talking earlier this week at a meeting I had with a real estate group about this culture shift with the younger generation of home buyers.
Mm-hmm.
The motivations are different, so that there's less of kind of a FOMO mentality driving them towards home purchases.
Mm-hmm.
There's much more of a wait and see look, and I kind of get that, given the fact that they do get pushed into making so many decisions so early.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I'll be 29 next month, so I think I'm still young. Someone called me an unk the other day at the gym, and that was a bit depressing. But if you'd have asked me even just 6 years ago, do you think you'll be a realtor one day, I would have told you no.
Yeah.
And especially if you'd asked me in high school, I mean, I would have never thought that I'd be a real estate agent. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life.
Yeah.
And so I went to Greenville Tech because I was, for whatever reason, even at a young age, and none of my friends were like this, but the idea of student loans just terrified me. I don't know why. I was just very money conscious and like debt conscious.
Yeah.
So that always like really scared me. But I was like, well, I can go to Greenville Tech for essentially for free for the first 2 years, and then I can figure it out while I'm there and then decide where I want to go. But I had no clue what I wanted to do when I grow up. And I feel like shortly after starting real estate, I discovered that this is absolutely the job for me. I've since told my brother, like, man, if this real estate thing goes downhill, I don't know what I'm going to do, because I could never go back to like punching in and.
Yeah.
But it's crazy how much pressure we put on 16, 17, 18-year-old kids to know what they want to do forever and rack up student debt and things like that.
That's true.
And it's definitely not, in my opinion, explained well enough to them on how the debt works and how the interest works and how they're paying it off for 5 years, but they're not really paying anything down quite yet. And it's very stressful.
That's a big chunk of what I do at the closing table,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Going through that amortization
Oh
table
yeah,
to
that's
show
like the
every
worst.
payment.
That's the worst piece of the quote. It's like, don't look at this part. Maybe, you're probably not gonna pay off the whole thing anyway. You'll probably sell it in 7 years. So, but yeah, that's always a fun part. It's like 2055.
Right, exactly.
I'll be 70 years. Yeah, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Yeah. I did also want to ask you, when it comes to the closings, is there a certain aspect of it that you enjoy the most?
That's a really good question. Particularly when you're dealing with first-time home buyers, that moment that the deed gets signed
Yeah.
and you get to kind of say, congratulations, you
Yeah.
own a house.
They always crack a smile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then my typical line is, and now you got to pay for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Please pay for it so it stays your house.
Then we look at the note and the mortgage and all that.
Yeah. I forget. I think it's Isaac, one of y'all's attorneys at the Greenville office. I've noticed him say a lot. When he's talking about, how not making mortgage payments can affect your credit score, like obviously.
Yeah.
But he's like, easy way is if you pay, you stay. If you don't, you won't.
Every closing attorney from the beginning of
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. I just like the way he says that. It kind of cracks me up.
That's
But
right.
It's in those things, to me, the way my brain works, I see that paper and I'm like, at some point, somebody tried to sue and say that they didn't understand this could hurt their credit score, and that's why that's there now.
It's nuts. Like, I think some of the things that make me chuckle on the inside is like some of the disclosures and acknowledgments that you have to sign.
Yeah.
There's like, yeah, of course.
This
Like-
coffee you're drinking is hot.
Right. Yeah. It's illegal to discriminate against somebody on a loan. Well, if that were an issue, they wouldn't have the loan that they're getting.
Right. Yeah.
But that sort of thing. But
Yeah.
I guess tell your friends that
Yeah.
if they get discriminated against.
Yeah. It's interesting. Another thing, and you kind of mentioned this, but, my generation, I feel like probably maybe more than half of my buyers, at least to this point in my career, have been first-time buyers. Because a lot of them are people I went to high school with, people I know, referrals in that way. But it's interesting the demeanor that a lot of the buyers in my generation have. It seems like really probably the majority of them, it's me reaching out to them saying, why are you paying $2,500 a month in rent? Like, we need to talk about this. And they just have no clue that they have the power to buy a home. I had a buddy what year is it? 26, about 2 years ago, and he ended up getting a new construction home, but his mortgage payment was like $250 a month less than what his rent was. But we also got the builder to cover all his closing costs and everything for him. But when I first talked to him, he said, well, I only have like $10,000 in my savings account. And we discussed like what different down payment options might look like. And you could do a USDA loan, put 0% down. Obviously, there's gonna be more principal to pay off. But
Right.
It's just like I feel like my generation is just, I don't want to say clueless because I feel like that sounds like a negative word, but it's almost like there's just so much misinformation online, and you see stuff on Facebook like the average home is $470,000, and they think that means average.
Right.
$470,000 is a heck of a house in Lawrence, South Carolina. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Well, and to that point, I think that one of the things that Lawrence offers is the opportunity to have that kind of small town quality of life, the community aspect that so many people are looking for, but in a more affordable way than you can get in other areas of the upstate. I mean, a lot of it is not just financial misinformation, but sort of perceptions of the community. What I mean by that is somebody would think nothing of living in Greer,
right,
and it taking 35, 40 minutes to get to downtown Greenville.
right,
But if you look at the travel time between Lawrence and downtown Greenville, it's roughly the same thing.
yeah,
But folks aren't programmed to sort of think of things in terms of that.
I think it's getting there though. I really do. I feel like in the next couple years too, it's going to continue to get that way. To me, I was on Chris Sweet's podcast, Swamp Rabbit, a few months ago, and he asked me what some of my favorite areas were, and I told him Lawrence is probably the one to me that I just feel like what Lawrence is right now reminds me a lot of what Greer was maybe 15, 20 years ago.
100%.
Like you can kind of just feel it. Like when I was growing up, we called Greer Gur. Like it was,
Yeah.
Greer was like out in the sticks, and it was, you didn't know anybody lived in Greer because nobody lived in Greer. Like that was kind of the thing. But
Right.
they've really revitalized their downtown. It's a super like quaint, cutesy. It's very quirky, but a lot of people when they go there and they walk around there, they just fall in love with it.
That's right.
And I'm seeing a lot of people mention that kind of stuff about Lawrence now. So to me, I feel like that's probably one of the spots that you're just far enough out that it hadn't hit yet, but I feel like it really is coming soon.
Yes, and I think that'll be even more the case once there are things that are happening that I can't talk about publicly.
Yeah.
But,
Are aliens real?
so I've heard.
Yeah, I've seen that in the news quite a bit the last couple of days.
But I mean, there's once those announcements are made, it'll be harder to find those bargains.
Yeah.
But to your point, I would joke with people. Let me back up. One of my favorite movies is Funny Farm. Have you ever seen Funny Farm?
I don't know that I have.
Okay. So without being a spoiler alert, like these folks, Chevy Chase and his wife are trying to sell their house.
Yeah.
And they enlist the whole town in helping sell their house in kind of selling this Norman Rockwell version of just the most quaint small town in America.
Yeah.
And so they have these people coming and visiting the house and seeing the town, and they're like, cue the deer, and they let out little deer to scamper across the snow. So we sort of joke around City Hall that like, cue the deer.
Yeah.
So we're trying to recreate that Norman Rockwell small town experience in Lawrence too.
Yeah. That's super cool. There's a ton of historic homes in Lawrence.
Yes. I live in one of them, as a matter of fact.
Oh, really? What year was it built?
1820.
Holy cow.
Yeah. Second oldest house in town.
Wow. That's awesome. Is it a registered historic home?
It is.
Okay, cool.
When we moved in, we put air conditioning in the house for the first time.
Wow.
And the AC guy said, Mr. Senn, can I ask you a question? I said, sure, what's up? And he said, is it okay if we put the vents over here? And he had them like a foot away from the wall, from the baseboard. I was like, well, yeah, if we need to, but why? It was because the beams underneath the house
Are that big?
Holy
cow.
Put together with like wood pegs.
Yeah.
And that's as close as they could get them.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
Do you have hardwood floors?
Yep.
Do they have the little rectangular nail heads?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I showed a home. It was in Batesburg, Leesville, actually. That's the farthest out that I've gone from Greenville. But it was built in it was pre-Civil War, and I noticed when I was in there the splints, and it had like the splint style nails.
Yeah.
And I was talking to my home inspector about it a couple days later. He loves old homes. Like he just thinks they're so cool. Mm-hmm. And I was talking to him about it on a home inspection for a different home, and he like freaked out. He was like, "Oh, dude, that's so cool. It's because back before, whatever year it was, he's like, they didn't have the round nail heads." So and he just like nerded out about it. And it's just little stuff like that that's just so quirky and interesting about him.
I mean, when we were looking at the house, the floors aren't all even.
Right, yeah. They're never going to be.
So I was talking to my dad about it, and he was kind of bringing up those points. And I was like, yeah, but like the floors aren't all even. It's a feature, not a defect to me.
Yeah, if you drop a marble, it's going to run away from you.
Right.
Yeah.
I love the thought that like when I'm sitting in my living room, somebody in that house was like, wonder what happens if that Lincoln gets elected.
Yeah, that's crazy. Gosh, that's bizarre to think about.
It is.
So that's 200-year-old house.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Built by a veteran of the War of 1812.
Oh my gosh, that's super cool.
And it's got this crazy like city connection. So the guy that built it, Edward Hicks, Hix, was on the very first city council when it was formed back in 1846, and his son was the very first city clerk, and he lived in the house. And then that family sold it to the Blackwells, and Mr. Blackwell was city attorney. and that was around the turn of the 20th century.
Yeah.
And now the mayor of the city lives there.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
Is there when I did leadership career several years back, and when I was doing that, we did this whole we did a tour of the city, we did all these different history lessons and stuff. And one of my favorite little weird facts about Greer is there's a coffee shop, and I cannot remember the name of it all of a sudden, but it used to be a bank, and there's a big huge vault in there, and it's sort of like a decorative piece of the coffee shop now, but they swear it's haunted. And the people there swear that cups get knocked over and you can hear stuff. Is there any weird cool quirky history stuff like that with Lawrence that you can think of?
Oh, definitely. City Hall.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the story?
So our city hall used to have the jail and fire department in it.
Okay.
And there have been at least 2 occasions when I've been in my office, which is on 3rd floor. And to get to the 3rd floor, you have to, if you're taking the elevator, you have to swipe a little fob.
Mm-hmm.
You can't even press the button and get to the floor without swiping.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's got to be done by a person.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've been there 8, 9 o'clock at night, just working late, and I'll hear bing, and the door's open. And I go, hello? Nothing. I get up and walk around the corner. Nobody's there.
Yeah, it'd be gone.
So that happened, and we pulled the log to see if anybody else was in the building.
Yeah.
Not a soul. I was the only person there.
Wow. So you think it's haunted?
This is what I tell people.
Yeah.
My whole system of belief is based upon a guy that died and was raised 3 days later. So I believe in the supernatural at some level.
Yeah.
Where the line is beyond that, I don't know. It's above my pay grade.
Yeah. I struggle so hard with the whole ghost thing because I'm a Christian, and I believe in Jesus, and it's I watch some of those shows and it just makes me mad because they're so stupid,
Right.
And they're like, oh, we're gonna go hunt ghosts, and it's oh, that sounds dumb to believe in it, but then you hear some stuff or you see some stuff, and it's kind of something happened there.
I mean, it's hard for me to say yes, I'm willing to accept this, but not that.
It's definitely intriguing.
I mean, I was there. I experienced it.
Yeah.
It has happened.
I mean, if you see it with your own eyes, it's hard to,
Yeah.
it's hard to not believe it. But
yeah.
I know I jokingly asked you, what do you think about the whole alien thing? It seems like that's getting really big in the news all of a sudden.
That's a very good question. I have to square that with my beliefs, and I don't. I think because if God created the world that we live in, there's nothing to say that is exclusive.
Right. I can't determine. I've talked to my wife about this. We saw, they were interviewing Obama. I forget who it even was. Stephen A. Smith or somebody maybe. Mm-hmm. Someone was interviewing him, mm-hmm. and he was like, "Yeah, no, aliens are real." And I'm like, "Oh crap!" He was the president of the United States. Like, he probably knows some stuff.
Yeah.
But I was talking to her, and I was like, I don't know which one scares me more. Like the idea that we are alone, or mm-hmm. the idea that there's other life forms out there. I don't know which one's more anxiety inducing.
It's true. I mean, I think the thing that I have a hard time reconciling is there's more and more of these reports about UAPs.
Yeah.
Like Navy pilots.
Yeah.
Are saying,
generals and stuff too.
Yeah. Like credible people.
Yeah.
The fact that you have some of those folks that are willing to put their good names and careers on the line and speak about it, I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah. It's definitely interesting. It's crazy, like the world of AI and maybe aliens and, just all the different stuff that it seems like time is moving so fast and like we're advancing so quickly now.
Well, it's funny that you say that. So last Friday, I was at a CLE, a continuing legal education event. Mm-hmm. And in the past couple years, since AI has begun, a lot of the discussion has been like in the practice law to say, be very cautious about that. If you're putting information, just like this is emerging technology, best practice is to not use it.
Yeah.
Or to be very, very, very limited by the way that it's used. Well, this year, the discussion was exactly opposite. It was like you have a duty of competence. Part of the duty of competence in practicing law is to be able to use technology.
Yeah.
And if you are not using technology that could benefit your client, you may even be violating the ethics rules.
Wow. What a turnaround.
Really?
And how long? That was a 1 year, 2 year?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm going to ask you this. I had another guest on last week, and we talked about, have you heard of the country artist that's AI generated?
Yes.
Burn and Rust or Breaking or whatever. Do you have any clue, like, what happens with the money generated from that? Because this AI platform, my understanding of it is it's 100% AI generated. There's no the sound, the drums, the guitars, the vocals, the whole thing is 100% fake, right?
Yeah.
And assumably someone went on Grok or ChatGPT or something and said, hey, I'd like you to make me a hit song by an artist, and gave him kind of an idea for what they want his story to be or whatever. But it generates this music and then it puts it out, and it was the #1 song in the world for like a couple weeks. So if that goes triple platinum, it's like, is the guy that just told ChatGPT what to do, is he getting the revenue from that? Or because he's
or is the company that generated it that owns the IP,
right? That's so curious to me. I've also seen recently where people are making like short films for their kids. So there's a lot of stuff in the news right now, and like you hear a lot about like parents that don't want their kids watching certain things.
Yeah.
So it's always like that. But apparently there's some parents out there that are doing like short 5 to 10 minute animated films with completely unique characters that they partially make up, AI partially makes up. They might be giving it a prompt of like, hey, I've got a 4-year-old kid. I don't want him watching Coco Melon because it's overstimulating.
Right.
Can you make a quick little short show about these 5 characters, Bob, Sally, and Billy or whatever?
Yeah.
And it generates the whole thing. And I've seen some clips of what people are saying are that, and they look really good. Like you would think that Disney produced it or something.
Wild.
That's got me wondering, are people going to be releasing short films? And like, it's like, how does that even work?
So you and I are thinking very similarly. I had the thought the other day that like, full disclosure, I live a very boring life. Like when I'm not practicing law and I'm not doing mayor stuff, like I'm usually pretty worn out, right?
Yeah.
So a normal Friday night for me is just like coming home and turning on Tubi and watching some awful movie.
Yeah.
And I love like post-apocalyptic kind of disaster, like bad movies.
You seen The Book of Eli?
Yes.
That's really good.
That's a good one. But like if you're looking for something in a specific genre and it doesn't exist, how cool would it be to just have a personalized movie?
Yeah.
And I mean, given exactly what you said, where we are today right now, I can't imagine that the possibility is that far off.
Yeah. There's also, and I'm also curious about this too, but did you happen to watch Stranger Things?
Started, kind of fell off.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the series just ended. I think the last episode came out like on New Year's Eve.
Everybody I know watched it.
Yeah. So a lot of people, there's 5 seasons, and a lot of people were really disappointed in the 5th season. They thought it was a letdown. Same thing happened with Game of Thrones. But I'm curious too, like, because I've seen a lot of stuff online where people are making, I haven't seen like fully AI generated stuff, but they're having like their own storyline of like season 5 that the Duffer Brothers wrote. If that didn't exist, this is how I foresee the season, and they're like really good. I wonder what's, people are making like alternate seasons, and I mean, because it's going to get so powerful where you can do stuff like that.
So
that's obviously copyright at that point, but
the moment you were saying like you feel like time is moving faster and faster, I 100% agree with you. In my mind, we're at this moment where, think about the end of the 19th century, beginning of the 20th, when electric lighting was first installed in homes. Like, there's the immediate effect of, hey, I can have light quickly and easily, and it doesn't stink up my house, and I don't have to buy candles and all that. But it allowed people's work days to be longer.
Right.
I mean, it completely changed advertising and the way homes were designed, the way offices were designed. Like, that one thing was transformational.
Yeah.
And there were still some people that, like, you hear stories about the folks that would cover the outlet sockets because they were worried about the electricity leaking into the room.
Yeah.
Like, I think that there are folks that fear AI, but it is going to be it is currently such a transformational thing. I don't even know that we can really comprehend what the world's going to look like in the next 5-10 years.
Yeah. As you were saying that, it was kind of making me think about, like, when you're walking through an airport, like, you're walking regular, and then you get on one of those, the moving and then, like, you're walking on that too. So It's like, it feels like in the timeline, we're kind of at one of those spots now where we're hitting one of those movers.
Yes.
Treadmill, whatever you want to call it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it kind of feels like that. Because if you look at, like, when did the AI boom really, like 2023 maybe, 2022?
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Even if you just go back to, like, COVID, which is only 5 years ago, almost 6 years ago now, it feels so different from then, because it's just this one thing has just taken off, and it's growing so rapidly. I've seen videos of, like, Elon Musk and other, like, tech guys saying that they anticipate AI is going to triple, quadruple, tenfold itself in the next 3 or 4 years. I can't even imagine what that's going to look like, because I don't understand it right now.
Right.
It's like right now it's too, intricate for me.
Well, and the scary thing is, there are some jobs, if you're a plumber or a welder or do something that is just tied to the nuts and bolts of what it takes to be a human, that it's always going to, like, those people are going to be needed.
Yeah.
But how does it reshape the practice of law?
Yeah.
There's some things. I was talking to a friend of mine about how, like, I went to school so I could have a job where I worked with my brain.
Yeah.
And there's value to what was between my ears.
Yeah.
In a way that somebody who hadn't had that education,
right,
couldn't compete on the same field. But now, not so much in the real estate field,
right,
but when you're dealing with litigation, if you have a client who puts an input in ChatGPT and asks for legal analysis of what's going on in their family law case,
right,
there's suddenly conflict between the client and the lawyer about who knows better.
Yeah. There's a lot of fields too that it's already, like, obviously anything, a lot of IT jobs are kind of starting to dwindle, but the one that I've seen the most of is, like, the digital marketing field.
Yeah.
And things like that, because you can, especially when you pair AI like ChatGPT or something with a digital editor like Canva or something, I can go. So I do at y'all's Greenville office every Thursday. I do a lunch and learn with my team, and we always have a sponsor that comes out. And we just recently, I provide my team with leads, and we just recently shifted lead sources from one to another. And so we shifted over to Realtor.com, super common, very well known. And on my way to a listing consultation yesterday, I had the thought of, I need to get a graphic made for my slideshow that I do during my presentation that kind of breaks down how I would like the agents to interact with these leads once they come in, so that we can make sure that we're utilizing them the best way we can,
right,
and that we're giving them the best service. So while I'm driving, I don't want to say the Apple name because my laptop will go off, but I said, hey, what using ChatGPT, can you make me a graphic? And she's like, yeah, of course. What do you need? And I was like, I need you to make me, and I just told her exactly what I wanted. And I even told her, I said, I'm driving right now to an appointment. Can you have it ready for me in the next 10 minutes? And she said, sure. And as soon as I got there, I opened my phone, and it looked perfect. It spelt one of my agents' names wrong, but which is fine. Her name's Katie. It spelled it I-E instead of E-Y. But it spelled her name wrong, and it spelled Shinko and Associates. It said Chico and Associates. But I asked it to change those two things, and it was perfect. And I'm like, man, how powerful is that? I'm driving. If I had to make that graphic by myself to look the way it did, it would have taken me 2 hours.
Yeah.
But it does it, and it probably only took it about a minute.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
It's remarkable, but you can, and that's where it's so powerful too, because you can utilize, like, typically me driving to an appointment takes me 20 minutes to get there. That's kind of dead time. I'm in the car,
Yes.
and obviously, like, your brain needs to rest. Like, it's good to have, downtime, but like, how useful is that I didn't have to call anybody, I didn't have to text anybody, I didn't have to ask anybody for help. I could just real quick have it ready for me when I get there, and then I just pop it onto my slideshow.
Well, it's the whole light bulb thing.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, the time that was unproductive, quote unquote,
Right.
that rest time in the evening is now open for more stuff.
Yeah.
So
It's interesting how
benefit
the
and
domino
curse.
effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. And also, that's just one more way that we open ourselves up to not resting.
Yeah. You're going to have someone come into court one day and like, I don't need a lawyer. I got me a chat GPT.
It's happening.
Is it really already?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That just stresses me out.
I mean,
Use a lawyer that uses chat GPT. How about that?
And
There you go. There's
I mean,
your
that's
answer.
basically
Yeah.
the message of what that CLE was the other day. Like, you should be using it because
Right.
you can kind of tailor the inputs and you know what to put in.
Yeah, you know what prompt to give it to where it's going to get an actually adequate answer.
Right.
But it's the same thing with real estate. Like, a lot of Jeremy, our broker, was mentioning to me that back when the MLS first shifted, I don't know what year it was, maybe around 2008 to 2012, but there was a lot of agents that were hesitant to kind of jump into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had older realtors tell me that back when the internet first got really big, there was a lot of realtors that were, oh, well, we don't need to use it. We've got our binders right here.
Yep.
But it's like, those are the ones that get left in the past, because if you don't use it, everybody else is going to, and you're just going to become obsolete very quickly.
I feel like I'm sharing that whole CLE with you, but one of the things that they brought up was this opinion. I guess somebody sought an attorney general's opinion about, or maybe state ethics commission or something like that, about whether or not it was proper to communicate with your clients using email.
Really?
Like that was in the early 90s. That was such a
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
yeah, that was such a controversial new technology. And the conclusion at that point was it was dangerous to do that unless you have all these safeguards in place. Don't do
Yeah.
it. And now, like,
Yeah, that's like the more formal version now. It's better than a text.
yeah.
That's so funny. It's crazy how quickly things like that change too and just sort of become the norm.
Yeah. And I would say the legal profession in particular tends to be slow to adopt technology.
Yeah. What sort of shift topics here, I guess. What do you think I know we've talked about like the growth of Lawrence. What do you think Lawrence looks like 10 years from now?
We are poised to have a lot of industrial growth. We already have a massive percentage of the population that is involved in manufacturing.
Mm-hmm.
I see that continuing. One of the things that I'm really proud of is on the city's side of my work, we put in place a new land use ordinance that encourages good growth,
Yeah.
but doesn't lose the character of the community.
Yeah.
And so my hope is that Lawrence sort of stands apart from a lot of other places in that it'll have the good parts of the growth, but you'll still be able to recognize it.
Yeah. It'll still have that charm, which is what draws people to it.
That's right.
Have you heard of what Fountain Inn's doing? I think they're calling it Envision.
That's right.
Okay.
I'm good friends with the mayor of Fountain Inn, GP, and I'm not saying they're copying us, but he and I talk about that a good bit.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You have to give me his contact info. I'll get him on here next.
He's a good guy.
Yeah. Fountain Inn's another spot that's really blowing up right now. I mean, very close to Lawrence geographically, but
it is.
Yeah.
I think, it's sort of funny. You look at certain cities around the upstate, Travelers Rest, Brandy Amidon, Fountain Inn, GP McClear, Lawrence, yours truly. The places that have sort of younger leadership,
Mm-hmm.
tend to be
Yeah.
places that are thriving.
It makes sense.
It's a fun group of folks, and we tend to rely on each other.
Yeah. One, to sort of change topics again, one thing that I've really tried to sort of lean into this year is advocating for men's mental health. And that's probably not what you had on your docket for today.
Oh.
I just like getting people's opinions and maybe life experience with different topics.
Mm-hmm.
I've had past clients on and just other people on that have mentioned that they've had times in their life where they've really struggled with that.
Yeah.
So I just always like bringing it up. What's your take on that? Have you ever experienced anything with it?
Heck yeah. I've been through hard times like anybody throughout my life, but particularly having served in that office of mayor through COVID and Hurricane Helene and
Yeah, you picked a great
yeah
great window there for natural disasters and
well, if
the
I
plague.
have one more, I get a free 6-inch sub at Subway.
There you go. Yeah, they get your punch card if aliens come.
That's right.
Yeah.
No, it's been a tough time to be in public life, and people are nastier and meaner on social media.
Oh yeah.
And so one of the things I've kind of done recently as a form of self-care for mental health is just really take a step back largely from social media.
Yeah.
I have a good team where if there's something that I need to know,
They'll let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy how social media. I talked about this with one of my mentors when I got into real estate. His name is Kelly Sheely.
Mm-hmm.
He was on last week, and we talked about that a lot. But it's crazy how different people act in person and on social media. And even though you have your little profile picture, and with most people it's a picture of them, or even it's a picture of them and their kids or something, it seems like people are very quick to be nasty and aggressive and spiteful or hateful. It sort of dehumanizes us. You know, you're yelling at a couple letters on a screen. You know, you're not yelling in the face of a woman that has 2 children, or But it's interesting how that's sort of changed the way that we communicate. It's definitely got a lot of good to it, but I feel like a lot of it ends up being negative in that way.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, again, from the city perspective, and I guess Gaston Brady too. I mean, social media is a great platform for us to be able to communicate with clients or residents and do it in a very cost-effective way. But at least in my personal experience, people seem to have lost the kind of ability to distinguish between whatever administration is currently serving in the White House,
Right.
and whoever they do or don't like in Columbia versus the person that they go to church with and shops at the same grocery stores they do in town.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're talking about being able to text me and get in touch with me. I would much rather somebody reach out and ask me a question than blow me up on Facebook.
Yeah. It's interesting. It feels like now there's a lot of division too, and you got to pick a side for everything, even the Super Bowl halftime show. It's like, oh my gosh. Yeah. But interesting to see how things change.
But I mean, there's a lot to be hopeful about. There's a lot that's really good. I think mental health is more accessible now than it has ever been before. And
yeah, there's online therapy and stuff too.
Yeah,
which is really nice.
I mean, you can barely watch any podcast and not hear better health than that.
Right. Yeah. Maybe they'll sponsor me. We'll see. I get like 10 viewers right now, so we got a ways to go. But yeah, I don't want to take up too much of your time. One thing that I always do like asking people too at the end is, what's something that you're grateful for today?
This conversation. I love the opportunity to just, talk, hear what's on your mind, and you get into the rut of having the same conversations every day about the same sort of things.
Yeah.
It's nice to kind of shake it up.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you being on. This is super cool. I'll pop into Gastonbury next time I swing by Groucho's because I'm a frequent flyer down there. But awesome.
Do.
I really appreciate you being on. This is great.
Thank you. I really appreciate you having me.
Awesome.